Well, Australians will have to pull on their purse strings because wages are growing at the slowest pace on record. Our pay packets are rising by only 2.6%, with inflation at 2.9%, and that means that real wages are actually falling.
Here to talk to us about what it actually means to you at home, finance expert Scott Hayward joins us again. Good morning, Scott. Now, that's the big question. What does this mean for Aussie households?
Well, good morning, guys. And whilst Nuala talks about pandemonium, most Australian workers this morning are feeling a bit like a skunk. They've only got a cent to their name. So you can say, yes, that wages are not going backwards, but they're certainly flat. And what that means is with inflation at 2.9% and wages at 2.6%, that means effectively we are going backwards. So the key for most Australians still is to reduce your debt. And that means if you've got non-deductible debt at a home loan rate, it's 5%. If you've got a business loan, it's about 9%. And if you've got a credit card, it's 21%. So the first thing you've got to do is look after what debt you've got. The second thing you've got to manage is, are you paying tax and how much tax are you paying? For example, people who think they're on $50,000 think they're actually earning $50,000, and they forget that if you're earning $50,000, you're paying $8,000 of tax, which means you're actually only taking $3,500 per month, and then you've got to take out your accommodation costs and your living costs and figure out a budget from there. So the important thing to think about is budgeting.
So in regards to, I guess, the next 12 months, are we likely to see any improvement in real wages?
Well, unfortunately not, Natasha. The job market is tough. We've seen massive cutbacks in banking, telecommunications and now mining. We've seen the iron ore price in Australia drop below $100 US, which means that our economy is also contracting from a mining point of view, which means jobs to get are tough. So if you do have a job and you're lucky enough to get a job, you've then got to budget and manage your money within the income you're earning and look at what you're actually spending. So it's about doing the old-fashioned household budget. And whilst that might be boring, it is as simple as pulling out the napkin and saying, what do I earn and what do I spend? But unfortunately, the job market in Australia is tough. And of course, if you are in the banking industry, and we've seen this through the GFC, it is cheaper to actually get services done offshore in the Philippines, in Thailand. It's actually cheaper to get labour over there. So the Australian job market is tough. So it does mean for that worker turning up on time. You know, I'm not saying you've got to be fantastic to your boss, but turning up on time, doing those things, making sure you do get job reviews and making sure you are accountable to your job description is very important in this job market.
Yeah, so you've talked about budgeting. What other advice would you give to people at home and maybe others who hypothetically might not have a job next week?
Well, the fact of the matter is that if you are friendly, if you're honest, then you will get a job in any job market, in my opinion. People are after accountability. People are after people who stand by their brand, they stand by their name, and that's where, you know, that's what employers want. People want people to have a crack. People want people who can sell. Employers want people who can sell, as I said, and employers want people who are on time and accountable, and they've got a good attitude towards life. And the job market at the moment, whilst it being tough, is you've just got to have a crack and just keep playing the shots.
Scotty, it's fantastic to have you with us today, and all your advice over the past few months. Actually, you've been a real highlight for me, so really appreciate you coming on the show.
Greatly appreciate it. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Just hear the sound of you biting your tongue there at one point.
You know how hard it is.